What's going on, everybody? It's Brian Tripp. Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Live podcast, where we interview the very best real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and business leaders all throughout the country. And today, I am honored to have with me in Birmingham, Alabama, Mr. Antonio Edwards. What's going on?
What's up, Brian? Good to have me, man. Good to have me. I'm honored to be on your podcast today. Ready to, give some killer content. I love talking about real estate.
Let's do it, man. Yeah. So I'm honored that you're in Birmingham. And I think
yes,
this
sir.
is the second time.
Second time.
Tell me what you're doing in Birmingham. Let's start off just talking about that.
All right. So, I'm here in Birmingham talking about real estate. I'm here looking at real estate, looking at some deals. We looked at some deals with you yesterday, and just trying to scoop up some, many cash flowing properties while we can. I mean, it's a great market. You can get some good returns on investments. And Birmingham is a really good market where you can buy one of the very few markets out here in the country, and then maybe be letting the cat out the bag, but you could buy well below 60K properties and get a good return. Unlike most markets, I mean, you got to buy 100K plus properties where most investors at. And freaking, San Francisco, a $500,000 house is a dog house. So, but here in Birmingham, you can get a whole house 3-1 for 40, 50, 60 grand. So I'm here buying some nice cheap properties where I can gain cash flow. So. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about, I want to talk about your business model.
Yeah.
Because your business model is very interesting. So I want to get to that. But before I do, and we talk about dig into maybe some cash flowing markets, some real estate strategies, your online presence, which is incredible. It's so inspiring for me to watch because I put out some content too. But before we do any of that, Antonio, tell everybody kind of, for the few people that don't know who you are, give some background. How'd you even get into real estate, and definitely how'd you get to where you are today?
Well, to answer your first question, how I got in real estate, it was I feel like it was kind of by accident. Maybe it was planned by God or something, man above. But I was in the music business prior to this, and I was banging out tracks, writing for artists. Got a couple of placements out there, and my mom gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I want to say back in, time flies, maybe about 14, 15 years ago.
Okay.
All right.
So we're looking at like 2005, 2006, somewhere around in there.
Somewhere around there. That's back in the boom time. Everybody was selling dog houses and still making $50,000, $100,000 profit. I wasn't in the game back then, but she gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was driving trucks, making $6.50 an hour at that time, and she never even read the book, Brian. She just like, here, son, some laid on my heart to give you this book. And she just gave me, and here's a fun fact. I never even read a book cover to cover at that time. So the book, just the title, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it just piqued my interest. So I'm driving trucks and on my lunch break, and I was with another trucking partner. He would drive half the day, and I would sit in the passenger seat half the day. So when I'm sitting in the passenger seat in lunch break, I would just open up this book and read it.
And how old were you at this time?
I was 22 years old.
Wow.
22. Never read a book cover to cover. I hated books. But I just happened to open up the book, right? Start reading it, and just start talking about real estate, investing, and it had briefly in that book brung up the topic wholesaling, and I'm like, damn, I feel like I can do this, but it seems like a scam. It's like, man, you could take title. I mean, you don't have to take title to a property. You can still make profit without being a real estate agent. I'm like, this sounds too good to be true. So I did a little bit of digging, and kind of like law of attraction thing. I heard a radio commercial that Robert Kiyosaki is going to be in town. He's having this quote unquote workshop.
That's my story.
A free workshop, right?
You stole my story.
Yeah, so I went to this free workshop.
That's funny. Thinking
that Robert Kiyosaki was going to be there because I want to get this book signed. I wanted to let him know, like, I read your book, man. Like, this, I'm really, empowered by your book, and it opened me up to real estate. He wasn't there, obviously, but at least they talked about wholesaling. All right, they talked about wholesaling, and I really piqued my interest more, and I ended up buying a 5K program at their on my credit card at the time.
Wow.
And for some coaching, and that went down south because I thought it was gonna be some like one-on-one, but that still led me to the right direction because I ended up meeting a local investor in my Virginia market where it's a law of attraction. It's that law of attraction kept steering me to that angle. He had a We Buy Houses truck on when he was driving by my neighborhood, and I just flagged him down. I was like, hey. I was like, man, like, you buy houses? And if, I wouldn't have never stopped him if I would never went to that workshop, because it was giving us little tips, you know, little basic tips there. So I stopped him and was like, hey, you buy houses? I was like, I'm looking to buy 3 houses right now. And he was like, you buy houses? And he's like, I buy houses. And he gave me his card. He said, I got some free cash right now. I'm looking to do two rehabs. So I was like, shit, he looks like he's a real deal. He has a We Buy Houses on his truck. He gave me a card. So I called him the next day. We met at Starbucks. And guess what he did? Just getting to know him a little deeper.
Wholesale.
He did music prior to real estate. So we instantly gelled and connected, Brian. Like, boom. He did the 50 Cent first single, the biggest 50 Cent record, Wanksta. I don't know if you remember Wanksta before, In the Club.
You a wankster.
Yeah.
He got nothing.
Yes. Yep.
You been hustling a long time, but you ain't got nothing.
Yep.
Hey, I was in college when that stuff came out.
He produced that track, and he produced some other tracks, but I think that was his biggest production.
Wow.
Took his publishing deal, and he invested into real estate.
Yeah, wow.
So he came in rehabbing, and then he started wholesaling like along his career. He was already in the game like 5 years when we met that day at Starbucks. So he was in the game for a minute. I'm like, damn. I was like, man, like, so this shit is real. And he's like, man, you remind me of myself, obviously, because I was in the music business. And I just got tired of work, you know, being in the studio 15 hours a day, just banging out tracks, selling them for 100, 150 a pop, just to, like, have my lights. I was struggling, man. So I remember him showing me a $40,000 check that day that he just closed. And I'm like, fuck, I'm in the wrong business, man. So he took me on his wing. I ordered some. This is back when bandit signs was popular. I was like the bandit sign king in Virginia at that time. Man, just putting out bandit signs after bandit signs. My first set of 100, I got the call. That's the one that changed my life. It was a crackhead house. 5 brothers, 4 crackhead brothers living in this house, and 1 sober brother who had power of attorney. We went to the house with the mentor, and I just remember, man, like, I'm like, who the fuck will buy this house? It just had the roof was damn near like water damage, lights was off, shit was in the toilet. It was bad. And I remember my mentor, he was just like, man, it's like, I smell money. So we went in the backyard, because there was no power in the house. We went in the backyard with some contracts and signed a $48,000 contract right there in the back with the seller. And when we got in his truck, he called a buyer on speakerphone and told him $60,500. And 3 hours later, he said he'll buy it. So my first deal was $12,500. Like, that probably took about 3 months.
Right.
From the time I met him at Starbucks, and 3 months later I had my first deal. Yeah. In my first year, I did 26 of those things. And I mean, for where I come from, first my first 6 months. First year I did 26 deals. First 6 months I had my first 100K liquid in my savings account. I thought I was a man in 2009 to 2010. I'm like, fuck, like, damn, this is like I hit the lottery, you know what I mean? But I just got smartening up, and I started scaling my business from there. And I mean, yeah.
Your story is so similar to my story.
Yeah.
I feel like you stole my story. Like, I was driving down the road, and I'd read Rich Dad Poor Dad years prior. Yep. And I was driving down the road, and I heard an ad come on the radio. This is when I was coaching basketball. I was driving down to we call it L.A., Lower Alabama. I was driving down to Troy, Alabama to coach at Troy University. Yep. It's about a 2-hour drive from Birmingham. I was on that drive. Yep. Said Robert. I heard. It's not what they said, but I heard Robert Kiyosaki's coming to Birmingham. I'm like, I got to go meet him.
You got to go meet him.
That was my story. Yeah. I didn't know. I've never heard of someone else.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I bought a 10K package. Yep. From Rich Dad. Bought 2 classes. Went to their classes wholesaling. I learned wholesaling there at the little 3-day. Yep. 45 days later, did my first wholesale deal. 10,000.
Damn, that's super close.
That's 2012.
2012. Wow.
So our stories are very similar. Like, you're talking about, like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I want you to talk about mindset for a second. For me, making $10,000, I'd never made that much money in one chunk before.
Fuck no.
Ever.
No.
I made 10 grand at one time.
Unless I had on a credit card, which I don't count.
Right, that doesn't count. For the first time, I believed I could have money. I never thought I wanted to be rich. I never thought I wanted to be wealthy. I resented wealthy people. My wife comes from like a kind of a high-end background. I remember the first time I went over to her parents' house to have dinner with them.
Yeah.
And it's like there's like a spoon at the top, like above the plate. I'm like, why is the spoon up there? I don't understand what the spoon's for.
You didn't get it.
Like I didn't understand like the crystal, the child, like what? But I resented that whole atmosphere. I resented everything about wealthy people until I actually something clicked inside of me and said, I can do this. I can be this. Talk about mindset. What did that initial check and then that initial first year where you did 20-something deals, what did that do for your mindset, your belief?
I mean, where I come from, I come from, the minority where, a poor background where, shit, you're making $50,000 a year. You made it. I mean, literally, like you made it. Like I was taught, I mean, love my parents to death. I was taught, Antonio, get you a good job, get you a decent house, get a good family, and you're good. Mm-hmm. That's what I was taught. So that was my mindset growing up, all my life, growing up, because I saw my family. My dad was a hardworking man. My mom was a hardworking woman. They're both two hardworking people. They paid if they had their bills paid on time, that was success to them. So I was following those tracks growing up. So that was my mentality. So I had to basically unravel, just kind of reverse engineer my mindset. And that's when I read that book, that first book ever, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It just opened me up a little bit. I'm like, damn, this is a little different. It seems kind of scammy because I always thought real estate, you needed a lot of money. You need millions in the bank. You need a freaking 800 credit score. That was my mentality because that was like a limited belief. That's what most people think that today because people hit me up on the DM or if I go speak somewhere, that's the normal mentality that, so you have your real estate license? You're an agent? Or
you get it all the time.
You got great credit? All the time. You probably hear the same thing.
You're in real estate? You must be an agent.
Yeah.
Or you must be, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really, and I'm not trying to, go deep into this, but I'm a minority in real estate as a black guy. So I think that still opens up. I think that opens up a whole different, side of things in a great way because even when I'm speaking to, the minorities, like the Hispanics or more so African Americans, they don't think they can do this shit. So it opens up a whole world of people because I spoke last year in Arizona, and the first question on the stage I asked, I was like, this is just fun, a true story. I say, how many people? I say for what is the average avatar you think of when you think of a real estate investor? And I was like, just throw out some answers. People say, rich, wealthy. Third guy, an old white guy.
True.
Real talk. I was like, well, I'm here to tell you that a lot of you in here may think that, but anybody can do this real estate thing. It's all mindset. It's really just your limited beliefs. Anybody can do this. And that's what I love about this business because people have their own story about it. You don't need the good credit. You don't need to be the whole white guy. You don't need to have a shiny suit on. Like I'll go like this to go get a $1 million contract signed. I go with my slides, my flip flops. You don't have to have a certain look to you. Yeah. And I think people have that mindset that you have to look a certain type of way, specifically in the real estate space.
For sure.
And you don't.
Yeah.
Let
me kind of piggyback off that for a second because I think it's really interesting. You're in Birmingham.
Yep.
Looking at properties, and we met with one of your clients. Well, I don't know what do you want to call them? Buyers, private money lenders.
Yeah.
And he's an NFL player.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to talk about this because you talk about minorities getting into the space. I think we all can relate to people in our own way. Like you might be able to relate to someone that I could never relate to. Mm-hmm. You could do business with someone that they just won't relate to me. It's just different stories.
Yeah.
You were telling me a story. I don't know how much you want to get into this, but you were telling me a story yesterday about how you have an online persona.
Yeah.
NFL guy reaches out to you because he relates to you.
Yeah.
And just the persona you put off, he relates to you and says, hey, will you come talk to some other NFL guys about real estate investing?
Yeah.
That opportunity, I'm guessing, you tell me if I'm wrong, that opportunity may never even have existed if you couldn't have related to that person in that way.
I agree with that. And it kind of goes with that saying, like, people do business with people they like and trust, and also known as relate to.
People do business with people that they know, like and trust, and they get to know, and they can't like you or trust you if they don't even know about you.
Yeah.
These people found you and learned about you and made the instant connection that maybe they wouldn't connect with me. So the point I'm trying to make is there might be someone out there who's listening to this who might think that maybe I'm a minority. What I see the most is actually minority females is even harder. It's probably the hardest demographic to try to crack. But here's the thing about that. Who is your customer? Who's going to relate to you and your story? Is
boom. I wish you had like a freaking like button we can hit right now. You hit it on the nail on that one.
So talk about that.
You got to know your avatar. You got to know your customer base. Like with me, like for an example, like I went to a multi-family mastermind a couple years back talking about, how to buy apartments. And, we all know to buy apartments, you have to have private money. That's where 99%, if not 100% of, you buying in that tier. I mean, you're raising millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that comes from private money. And then you cash them out later, 3 to 5 years later with banks. So we're talking about, the speaker was talking about his avatar, where he gets his private money from. The older 55 to 60-year-old doctor lawyer is his avatar. And I was just letting that sink in. I'm like, well, I wonder if because he's 50 and he's relatable to that. And I sunk in. I'm like, my avatar is different for a private lender. I noticed that my avatar is more the athletes or more the producer who's getting royalties that needs money, or maybe my grandma or something. I have a different avatar for private lenders, and you just got to know your customer base and your avatar, where you can get your sources or opportunities from. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and that's why I just want to encourage, and kind of that's why I asked you the question. I want to encourage because we do. I have a lot who are reaching out to me. We do have a lot of minorities that listen to the show. Yeah. And how can they get started? It's be relatable to the people. Don't try to force yourself to be relatable to someone that you may at least not in the beginning. You want to be all things to all people.
You want to be yourself,
but you want to be yourself. Be true to who you are.
True.
Let's shift gears for a second. You are you got courses out there. You got music videos that are real estate music videos that are incredible. By the way, guys, we'll link some of those up in the show notes. You can go check those out. They're fun.
I'm just being myself, man.
They're exciting. They're catchy as. Like, they're so catchy. My wife's even like bouncing around the house singing flip.com, auction.com. It's awesome. We'll link that up. You definitely need to go check those out. But I want to ask you about, you're not the typical guru person that's out there teaching this stuff that's not actually doing this stuff.
Right.
And we've had this conversation a few times where it's like, the coaching's fine or the online stuff's fine. I want to find more deals. I'm trying to find more deals. I'm trying to find more private money. I want to get out in the field and do more deals. Like when I was riding around with you yesterday, I was kind of half expecting we're going to have a cameraman follow us around. It's going to be a little bit of a show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a show at all. It's like, we're really looking for some properties here.
Hell yeah. We're really I almost forgot the camera guy was behind because you was like, let's talk, let's get some content. I'm thinking about, I'm trying to get some deals locked up while I'm here.
So my point is, you are in it. You 100%. You are like face deep in this stuff. You love real estate. You eat, breathe, sleep. The content you put out is just extra. It's just extra stuff.
Extra shit.
So talk about what it is that is your bread and butter. What is it that you do? You talked about cash flowing properties. You're here in Birmingham because you love the cash flowing type of properties.
Yep.
How can someone maybe who's brand new start to learn some of these secrets and talk about that and talk about what you do at the same time specifically?
All right, what's the first question?
How do you make money in real estate? How do you make money? What's your go-to strategy?
It's several ways I make money. It's always many ways to skin a cat in real estate, which I love. But I mean, I love wholesaling still. I'm actually, slowly each year I'm gaining a way to, because you got guys. Man, I wholesale 40 houses a month, 20 houses, 10 houses. Like I don't want to do that. I mean, I want cash flowing properties because wholesaling is great. It's one check. You chase. You get that $50,000 check, but you got to go chase that next deal. Yeah. the older I get, I don't want to go keep chasing. I notice that the cash flow is where it's at, and for tax purposes, it's where it's at. That's how the wealthy get wealthy. It's not through flipping all your life. You can make $2 million, $3 million wholesaling a year if you got a good machine.
And that sounds awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
But you're working your
ass off, and you need a machine. Like, you need a machine. Like, you need people, and then you gotta go to that next deal. You gotta be on top of your cold callers all the time. Like, I want cash flowing properties, man. Yeah. It's way more smoother. It's way more sexy. So I'm still wholesaling. I'm still, I got rehabs going on right now. But I like my Airbnbs. They're cash flowing nicely. I got 2 of those I just put on the market. Obviously my slow flips, which you know about the slow flip strategy, where basically, we're buying, properties 50, 60 grand or below, usually on the sweet spot 30 to 35, and we're getting $800 a month for no work. And I mean, I just love that model. And
by the way, let me just interject real quick. If you want to learn more about slow, we're not going to dig into that now. We don't have time. But if you want to learn more about slow flips, the inventor of the slow flip model actually came on our show and broke it down step by step by step. We'll link that up in the show notes as well, to talk about how you can get cash flowing properties without paying taxes, without paying for insurance, without worrying about fixing anything up, and you're still getting a check. So we'll talk about, would you consider, I know you said you're still wholesaling, you're still chasing the, kind of the one-time payday every once in a while, wholesaling, flipping properties. Would you say that slow flips or rentals in general is your go-to strategy right now? Is that your, at least your go-to long-term strategy?
Yeah, right now. I mean, especially like the last year, I've been wanting to crank it up even more. Like this year, I'm projected to buy 50 of them. And next year, I'm just going to keep buying. Because I mean, there's the strategy. Once you understand the strategy, like, it's hard to go back. At least for me, it's hard to go back to the standard, standard landlord strategy. When you go in, you buy a property, whatever price, 50 grand or 100 grand, you put the 15, 20,000 repairs into it, make it rent ready, have a tenant sign a lease, and then you're on the hook for a leaky toilet call, or and they get their deposit back once they move out a year or 2 years later. I mean, this is different. It's the opposite. You're not doing no repairs. The deposit they put down, your tenant buyer, is non-refundable. The beautiful thing, again, you don't do any repairs. That's the beautiful thing. You don't do any repairs to these properties, and you're getting the same amount monthly payment, rent payment, or what they say, as what you do as a landlord would get. So if the landlords get $800, I'm still getting $800 a month. It's a beautiful strategy.
So again, guys, check out the video we just linked in the show notes about how to slow flip. We actually have about 3 videos on. I'm gonna link all of them. The guy Scott Jelinek, who started this thing,
shout out to Scott.
He did it, and y'all are from the same market.
Yeah, he's the one who put me onto this model about 5 years ago. He put me on because I was going the Section 8 route. I was going to Section 8 because the government pays the checks no matter what. So, and he used to always say, he's like, man, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I mean, you're going to get tired of being a landlord. And it used to go in one ear and come out the other. And then like 5 years ago, because I know Scott for about 8 years. And 5 years ago, it just hit me. I tried my first one, and I bought a house I still have that one today. But this was a beautiful one. I bought this property for $12,000 back in Virginia. And I did a slow flip model to it, and I'm getting $700 a month to this day on a $12,000 property. Yep. It's beautiful. Never done any work. I haven't seen it.
Which has paid your $12,000 back over and over.
3.5 years ago. 4 years ago. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So for someone who's, I kind of want to end with this again, to learn slow flip specifically, go check out those videos. But to for this person who's brand new, slow flips might be a little daunting right out of the gate. What do you recommend? How do you recommend someone who's brand new? How do you recommend they break into the business?
Well, taking myself back when I was brand new, 11 years ago, I wasn't even thinking buy and hold. I wanted a check now. I wanted a wholesale deal check. So I'm assuming the person who's brand new, they want a deal where they can make a $10,000, $15,000 check, whatever the case may be. I would start with wholesaling. I mean, that's by far the best strategy out there to do a quick deal, make some quick money. Now, granted, I mean, you're gonna have to do marketing. I want to disclose that because people be like, $0 out of your pocket. Yeah, $0 out of your pocket because you're not buying the property, but you still have to spend money for marketing. So few ways that we do for deals that we buy slow flips or deals that we still wholesale or rehab. We do cold calling, which is by far one of our favorites. Actually, that's our second favorite. Our first favorite so far is text blasting. Yeah. We use textmagic.com. We just take a list of distressed properties. We do list stacking. That I do highly recommend if you're starting out to do list stacking. You're basically just stacking motivations on your list, whether it might be a tax lien list with pre-foreclosures, with absentee owner or something. I'm just giving examples. You're stacking those lists together, and we'll skip trace the list, get the phone numbers, and once you get the phone numbers, you could do the texting, because we'll text blast them out using Text Magic and say, hey, my name is Brian. I'd like to buy your house at 123 Main Street. Would you like to sell it all cash? Just pure text, and we're scraping up deals just text, 3 cents a text. So if you do just keep a number simple here, at 3 cents a text, you send out 1,000 texts. That's only $30 campaign, $30 campaign. Yep. I mean, if you got $30, you could send out to 1,000 people now. I mean, it's simple.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, cold calling is great. Text Magic is our favorite. We still kill the ringless voicemail. That still works. So those are our top 3. We still do direct mail to follow-ups. We don't do like direct mail
just blanket.
Yeah, I mean, because it's so cheap with ringless voicemail and a text and cold calling, and we just we pick out a few cold callers in place that we just pay them every 2 weeks. But direct mail, I don't think, for us, is the bottom of the barrier right now.
It's expensive.
And it's expensive. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for every $500 to $600 campaign with text, we're getting a deal.
Yeah. I mean, and your average deal is
that's 5,000 to 6,000. Yeah. Well, it depends if that conversation carries on in that one lead. Right. But every $500 to $600, I'm seeing a deal. Yeah. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's amazing.
Because I'm sure your average deal is at least $5,000, or if not $6, $7, $8,000. Because you do different things. You're slow flipping. It depends on everything you're doing is not a wholesale.
My average wholesale deal is 10 to 12 grand. Yeah. In the Virginia market. Yeah. Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong in Virginia market, because your market is similar to ours. Antonio, I appreciate you coming on the show. Guys, we're going to link up a lot of the, kind of the how-to. We've done tons and tons of videos, and there's tons of stuff out there. I really wanted you to get to know Antonio, because we haven't, I know you came and spoke.
Yep.
And we got a video on our YouTube channel where you spoke to our group in Birmingham, but we don't have like an interview style.
For sure.
I want to make sure you guys got to know Antonio and get linked up with him. Make sure that you reach out to him. Antonio, tell everybody how they can find you. What's your Insta? Yeah. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and what you got going on.
Yeah, so if you on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Antonio_J_Edwards. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put out content all the time on YouTube. Just type in Antonio Edwards Real Estate. And if you want like a free copy of my book, my digital book here, just go to AntonioEdwards.com. But pretty much I'm all throughout the social media platforms. It's not hard to find me. Is most of your people that watch this, is that all over, or they're in the Birmingham area? Or?
Yeah, Birmingham is probably going to be about 40%.
Okay. If you have any deals, send them. I mean, I would say precisely send them to my IG DM if you got any like wholesale deals because we're looking to buy here in this area. Send me some deals.
Do it.
Yeah.
So hold on real quick. You got a free book at AntonioEdwards.com. Yep. What's in the free book? What are they going to get when they get the free book?
Yeah. So it's going to talk about how I got started, which I talked about earlier in this podcast. It's also going to go deep into the marketing strategies of the ringless voicemail, the texting, and how to find deals in your market. Like this is like, I'm not talking about shit from like 5 years ago. This is stuff that works today. So this is a fresh book of how you can get started in today's market, because even 3 years ago was different. Like I don't even use bandit. I don't know when the last time we put out bandit signs, Brian. And I know people still do that, and it still works in a way. But I feel like, I mean, you have to put out a shit ton of bandit signs to get a deal. I mean, maybe 1,000.
And who wants their business to be revolving around something that's illegal?
Right. Because the city's gonna be chasing.
Like why would you make if your whole business is centered around something that's not even legal? Yeah, that doesn't sound like a business to me.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. So
and I'm saying that, and I was the bandit sign guy here in Birmingham. You were talking about we were putting out 100 to 150 every Friday night, like clockwork, for like a year and a half.
What year was this?
2014, 15, 16.
Yep.
14, 15 were the.
It's different now. Like
It's totally different.
Yeah. I haven't put out a banner sign even to sell a house. Like we use Facebook Marketplace to sell our houses. Especially
Facebook Marketplace is gold.
Yeah, if you're not using Facebook Marketplace to sell your houses, and even Facebook ads, I forgot about that. We run Facebook ads for
sell?
For seller leads.
Oh, for seller leads. Okay.
Yeah, that's golden. It's cheap. Yeah. Cheap.
Make sure you go to AntonioEdwards.com to get his free book. Follow him on Instagram, Antonio_J_Edwards, and send him your deals if you got some in Birmingham, but send them to me first. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming on the show, man. It was an awesome time. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you are subscribed because you never know when we're going to put out a new video. It's going to be obviously amazing content. We'll see you guys next time.